Hey everyone. So little bit of the mystery solved of the little teaser that I gave a couple videos ago about the mystery egg clutches. I said that we had a few clutches hit the ground. We still have a few more going, and I have a bunch of other females that are lying to me, acting like they're gravid and they're gonna lay, and they just refuse to, which is really unfortunate because they're some of our most anticipated clutches of the year. But 3 out, they all came out. Most of them have taken their first meal. Some of them have even taken 2 or 3. And another little update, obviously, broken wrist, so can't write, can't do anything with his hand. I can't cook for myself really at all because I can't hold a knife. Cleaning, washing hands, wearing gloves, all that is kind of out the window for the next month or so. So stuff's gonna get kind of weird. But anyway, 3 clutches. So we had a female Orange Dream, we had a female GHI, and we had a female Enchi. So I'll kind of go through them as fairly quickly because I know me standing here for 20 minutes isn't something you guys really want to deal with in one little sitting. So first one is the Orange Dream female Chicago or Chi-Chi. We put 2 males to her, so we have the possibility of getting a split clutch. So what that means is that with ball pythons, because they have multiple ova, or they have, let me rephrase, basically you have the possibility of having multiple parents, specifically males, to one clutch of eggs. I'm just going to keep clumbering over litter and clutch. And I just did it right there just saying that. So you could have 6 eggs, 2 could be from one male, 4 could be from another male. Don't really know. So 2 males to Chi-Chi. One was Carlsbad, our Orange Dream male, who was a really nice, pretty Orange Dream male. Not high intensity, but holding his color really well. And the other one was Glacier, our GHI Mojave. I've wanted to do a GHI Mojave ball python for forever. Chi-Chi was a bit of a stubborn feeder. She only wanted live for a long time. So it took us another extra year to get her up to weight. But 5 huge eggs, and the first one out of the egg was Orange Dream. Okay, cool. Well, it's not a normal. Second one, normal. Curses. Third one, GHI, this monster of a snake. He's already taken 3 meals, pretty sure so as soon as he poops one more time, maybe shed, he'll be available to go. I like to have at least 3 meals in one shed, maybe 2, before I make any babies available. Next one was a super Orange Dream, so we hit the split, and then 1 more Orange Dream. So out of 5 babies, we have 2 dads for sure, because Carlsbad is the Orange Dream, and together that makes a super, and then the GHI Mojave, then you get this guy right here. Excuse me. So 5 babies, 1 normal, 2 Orange Dreams, 1 super, 1 GHI. We're probably going to keep the super as a holdback, and then the rest may be made available. So for the next clutch, this is what really threw me for a loop the first time, and he might take a pop, so sorry guys. This was our GHI to GHI clutch. I did put the GHI Mojave to her as well, but I never saw a lock out of like the 4 or 5 locks with the other one that I did see. So we have what is pretty sure just a straight Mojave to Mojave. And with that, this is where it gets kind of weird. We had 2 super Mojaves or super GHIs. So you can kind of see the difference. And I know if you don't know genetics very well, it's going to look maybe not like the most easily distinguishable. So this is the GHI from the Orange Dream split clutch in my casty hand right here. And then this is a super Mojave from the GHI to GHI, or the super GHI from the GHI to GHI clutch, right? So darker, the pattern's a little bit different. The head striping is a little different. I know it's kind of hard to tell if you don't really know too much about it, but super GHI, GHI. And here's where I said it gets kind of weird. So GHI to GHI, we get 2 supers. Makes sense, right? Okay, then we hatch out an obviously normal one. Okay, well, you know, 2 supers and a normal, that's not the worst thing. And then there's these 2. We don't know what is going on with these guys. So everything about the pattern here screams GHI. It's just saying, I want to be a GHI. That's what I am. But the colors are just regular, normal, wild coloration. Maybe a little bit lighter, but the pattern is just insane. Like you can kind of see the pattern with the super, it's very similar. It's not quite the same as, described, because obviously this for sure is the GHI. But these two, we don't know what they are. And so when I said I had someone come over, we talked about it. We looked at Morph Market. We were talking to other people. We were checking other breeders. We were looking up stuff on forums. And the closest thing that we can get, and I'm going to put him over here, is that these two might be what's called jungle ball pythons. And so as best as I can grasp this, is that those are essentially just kind of one-off, not necessarily paradoxes, but just kind of they're not genetic, which means they don't actually carry through the genes and through mother to son, father to brother, whatever you want to say. And I don't know, I totally messed that up. But they will just kind of pop up. And it's this really weird, crazy, busy pattern that would be described as a jungle ball python. The only thing about that is all the examples that I could find, including this other one that may or may not be its own individual morph, is that these guys' patterns match the GHI pattern perfectly, unlike every other one that I have seen. So we might be having another season of a lot of normal holdbacks. So, meh. So, if that wasn't kind of weird and not sure what's going on, now it gets really weird. So, for this last clutch, which was the Enchi female clutch, I kind of did this to myself a little bit, but me nor the couple other people that I talked to would have had any idea that this could happen, or if this for sure is the case. But this is our best guess, combining multiple opinions. So, female Enchi, proven breeder. She's produced really nice Enchis, did a nice Enchi banana clutch for us a couple years ago. 6 really big eggs. Cool. All right. We put several males to her. So she didn't go last year, but we did pair her up, so we'll get to that in a minute. We had what I'm fairly confident, or at least was sold to us as, was a Calico Male North. Really high white, kind of a lot of speckling, but his top pattern is kind of weird. And someone wasn't quite sure if there wasn't something else in there for him, right? The next one we had was Jersey, who was our lesser pastel yellow belly. And he is our best breeder. He will breed anything. In fact, he even locked with a ball python that was supposedly a female, and then he combated with another male, not Jersey. So we don't know what's going on with that. And then we also put the we put a Mojave Leopard Tucson to her. So 3 males this season. Supposedly just a Calico, the 3 gene pastel lesser yellow belly, and then Leopard Mojave. So it's going to be just a wide slew of different just codoms, which is kind of whatever. And she's a really good kind of just add to clean up pattern morph. And so I was just kind of putting stuff through to see her what stuck. Because I didn't see a whole lot of actual locks for the first almost month. And then somehow she's one of the first ones to lay. So, first 2 eggs out, an Enchi and a normal. It's a really nice Enchi, maybe even a super, but I'm pretty sure just a regular Enchi and a normal. Left them downstairs. And so, the next thing that we have up here is this one. So this one looks like just an Enchi, but there's some kind of weird stuff going on with her. And this is for sure, I think this is the girl, right? Yeah, this is the girl. We only have 1 male. And this might be a super. It's not quite as thin banding as some of them can be, but it might be a super, but for sure it's an Enchi, right? So that makes sense. Enchi came from the mom. Okay, cool. Next up, we have this female leopard. Definitely a leopard. Probably not an Enchi leopard, but definitely a leopard, right? You can see that patterning right there. All right, so Tucson, the Mojave Leopard, he's the one that did it, right? Okay, totally makes sense. That works. So, Mojave Leopard Enchi. Then here's where it gets kind of weird. This one. So this one, when you first look at it, if you kind of know genetics, looks like a Enchi leopard, right? But then we twirl it around and we look here on the sides, all of that kind of blushing and bleeding out that leads down into the tail, that is kind of very familiar, are cognizant of low white calicos. And that's what, I wasn't 100% sure about that, but that's what this guy who's looked at calicos before, we were talking to people who's bred them, looked at Morph Market, looked at World of Ball Pythons, we're checking forums, and this looks like what appears to be a very low white calico Enshi. But there's obviously something leopard going on there, right? So you can't have two males in the same egg. That's unheard of. You can have two males. That's what has been recorded before, but unless maybe there's something going on with North the calico that we don't know about, maybe he's an Enshi calico, we don't really know. So outwardly, maybe this is just a really pretty Enshi leopard and just has all this crazy blushing and kind of bleeding through here on the belly, leading to the tail. Maybe. Or maybe North is something really weird. We honestly don't really know for sure, to be completely honest with you. So 5 babies, we know what most of them are, but there's something weird genetics kind of going on right now. So then we move on to the last one, which that one was actually like the second or third one out of the egg, which completely broke our brains. Then we have this girl. So this was one of the first ones out, and I didn't know what was going on at all. Because when she first popped out, this looked like a GHI lesser. And I went, okay, well that's literally impossible. We put a lesser male to her, but that doesn't have GHI in there, so that can't be right. And then even if we did have a GHI lesser, which we don't, I didn't put her to her. Like, I didn't put a GHI anything to this female Enshi. And then when you look at the other ones, there's already questionable parentage of 2 other males, right? So what's going on? Like, we might have a super Enshi, we might have a possible calico, we might have leopard, we might have leopard Enshi, we might have super leopard or super Enshi leopards. We don't know what's going on. And then this one completely threw it out, and I had to go through and look back at records. Last season, we put Glacier, the GHI Mojave, to Virginia. Didn't get paired up at all this season. Not once. So what snakes can do is they can actually hold on and retain sperm until conditions are better suited for their biological needs to produce eggs, and then they'll utilize that sperm to fertilize their eggs. And so what happened was, last year, the beginning of last year, when we put Glacier to Virginia, the Enshi, she retained some of that sperm and popped out this GHI Mojave Enshi ball python female. And she is a bit of a stunner. I love the GHI combos, and especially when you start throwing other stuff to them, like Lesser and Mojave, because it just makes stuff pop. Even Pastel. Like, there are some Pastave, or some GHI Pastaves that just glow. And this girl is amazing. But that's what makes this whole clutch even crazier, you guys. And that's because, so we have a retained sperm. So that's one for sure dad. And then we have for sure something with leopard in them. There has to be leopard, because that's what at least 1, if not 2 or 3 of the babies are. So that makes 2. But then there's others that look like they might be super Enshi or even calico. So as far as I am aware, and if anybody knows, and I'll probably throw this out on Facebook groups and stuff too, calling it out, if anyone knows of a ball python clutch that has had 3 sires in the same clutch, let me know down in the comments. Hit me up, please, because this is insane. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I'm not working with crazy genetics right now, but this is some pretty cool stuff. Some of these guys are going to be available soon as they add a few more meals in them. This girl technically will be ready to go, but we're not sure if we want to hold on to her or not. She's definitely probably the most high roller of any of the ball pythons we have right now, but she's so pretty and so nice. She's definitely hold back material. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. Hit me up, Instagram, Facebook, all of that jazz. Hope you're having a good day, and we'll catch you next time.